G'day guys, my name is Wildcard and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for following my content. If you do want to buy me an instant coffee, hit the join button down below. Otherwise, feel free to like and subscribe and post your comments. So, I know why you're here. You know why you're here. It's Tuesday. It's Newsday. Let's see what's been happening in the world of union. So, Beauden Barrett came out to his 100th All Blacks cap this weekend against Wales and put up a magnificent performance for his 100th test. We haven't seen Beauden this good since 2018 against Australia, where he scored 4 tries, maybe, and there was like 2 denied tries, so it could have been like 6 tries against Australia, where he single-handedly destroyed the Wallabies. And following that game, ironically, is pretty much the start of the downfall of Beauden a little bit, where maybe he got a bit too confident, too cocky on his performance, and he started missing his goal kicking. And as a result of those lackluster performances, he was dropped in 2019 from the 10 jersey. I would say not like to the bench, but he was put to 15, the fullback position, opening up the 10 jersey for Richie Mo'unga. And it's been really tough a couple of years for Beauden. And I think this picture I'm showing you here, right here, where he choked up. He actually choked up, being emotional during the national anthem against Wales. So I have never seen Beauden Barrett, teary-eyed, if you can see it, like teary-eyed, choking up on the words of the national anthem before a test match before. It really humanized him quite a lot. We sometimes forget, some of these players, especially players like Beauden Barrett, we think they're just superhuman, never always smiling on camera. You never see that struggle that they have behind. And I think this picture is the best picture that really sums up the last 3 years, all the emotions building up to this 100th test. Beauden has been, so he lost the jersey in 2019 to fullback, and then he's been trying to get back that 10 jersey. He even went to Japan just to play 10 to take a sabbatical. And he's back this year. And again, he's been criticized a lot for not really being as good as Richie Mo'unga. His kicking still not as good as you really need him to be at international levels. His confidence is pretty much all-time low, being a bit flat. Even I criticize him for being a bit flat. And really, you don't know this, but this moment during the national anthem, I really saw the pain and the adversity that he's went through in the last few years. He really kind of built to this moment for his 100th test. I think in Beauden's mind, he probably never thought that he would be wearing number 10 for his 100th jersey. It's kind of really something that he's worked hard to earn, maybe even to get to this spot. So he's super emotional. He also a lot of people kind of thinks that he only got the number 10 jersey because it's his 100th, and this could be his last chance at the number 10 jersey ever, unless Richie Mo'unga suffers an injury or something. So Beauden really under a lot of pressure this game and this could potentially be his last time for number 10 jersey. So he was emotional as hell. You can see it in his eyes. I have never seen Beauden Barrett looking like this before. I honestly, we sometimes forget that, he's just human. And sure enough, that emotion really helped him, pushing him forward, and put on just world-class performance this game against Wales. 2 intercept tries, absolute brilliance, and just electrifying around the field. And he was so impressive. I am not sure if this was a on-spot decision or not, but Richie Mo'unga came on the field for wing position. So Beauden played the full 80 minutes. So Sir Fozzie was pretty happy with Beauden and kept him on the field for the entire game. Having Richie Mo'unga coming on for Will Jordan on the wing position, and Riku Ioane moved to center, outside center for Anton Brown. So yeah, this is the first time I've seen that happen for the All Black tour. So really, Beauden was in God mode this game. And also one of the things that I think really important going forward is being after, for someone like Beauden, who has the talent, who really has those demons that he needs to fight off within himself. If this game is the start of him being able to put those demons aside, Beauden could potentially be your number 10 pick for the Rugby World Cup, to be really frank, because he has gone through the adversity. He has he has conquered those personal demons. And if he gets his confidence, if he gets that smile back, the smile that everybody loves, the big smiley face when he goes in for the try, if he gets that confidence back, he is your World Cup winning number 10. I don't care what you say about Richie Mo'unga, how skillful he is. It's all about no matter how good you are on paper, it's all about how much pressure you can handle and being able to conquer those demons on and off the field. And if Beauden have gone through that hump and really conquered that adversity, I think he could be your winner. So Fozzie. And also the thing is with Beauden is that his kicking has been an issue. So Fozzie, you're against Italy this weekend. I will say give Beauden the chance to kick. And if Beauden gets 80% of the kicks against Italy this weekend, then he's the winner. He's the World Cup number 10 for you. There it is. He's conquered his personal demons and he's able to bounce back. And this is exactly what you want for a championship winning team. So Beauden even talked about that he hasn't been preparing well this week just due to the pressure and stress that's put on him for the 100th Test match. And in the end, the All Blacks just really dominated the Wales. Wales had a really good first half, pretty close first half against the All Blacks with a couple of the opportunities not being capitalized. The score was, I think, 6 points to 18 at halftime. Alun Wyn got injured about 18 minutes into the game. After he was injured, the Wales lineout just fell apart. And if the lineouts had been good for Wales, they literally missed out 2 5-meter lineouts where they could have scored points against the All Blacks in the first half and made the score much closer. On stats, in terms of stats, both teams were actually pretty close in the first half. It's only the second half where the game started to fall apart for Wales. The reserves came on, tackling starts going by the wayside, the fatigue kicked in, and really the All Blacks start opening up the show. So Beauden Barrett scored 2 tries, opening and finishing the game with 2 intercepts. Just absolutely beautiful tries to see. TJ Perenara try. Will Jordan, a beautiful individual try. Chip kick over, chase and catch try. Papali'i scores a try for the All Blacks. Xavier Reese came on the field, not to be outdone by Will Jordan's incredible solo try ability. Xavier Reese came on, and then he basically did a magic trick with Adi Savia, with Rico, and they just literally juggled the ball around like 6 times and end up with Reese getting the ball back and scoring the try. So it was just literally like Penn and Teller's fool me. Anton Lennon-Brown gets the try into the corner. Really, really good to see. And Beauden Barrett finished. The only person who was able to score a try was Williams for Wales, where they built quite a bit of pressure against New Zealand eventually in the second half. And they were able to... Williams, I think he went into the corner. I can't actually remember exactly what happened here. But anyway, Wales did get 1 try off the game. And I do think that one thing I wanted to shout out is Ethan Blackadder, probably the most standout player from the All Blacks team. I thought he was absolutely spectacular. This guy could be a future All Blacks captain. He is absolutely amazing. To think that he just debuted this year was I was baffling how good he was. He's big, he's dominant in tackling, really physical on the breakdowns, getting those turnover balls for the All Blacks. He's really, really good. In the lineouts, he is a third option in the lineouts, and he's just silky smooth in the air, catching the ball, setting up. Everything was just so smooth, so good, and just have that fitness to play the full game. I think he played the full game, in fact. Just incredible fitness all around. Really good support running as well. Just like amazing. He is absolutely amazing, and he could be a future All Blacks captain right there. I'm calling it. Ethan Blackadder, you are so good. So good. Big step up for him. Hopefully he's getting another few opportunity, maybe against France later on in this tour. So All Blacks, after winning against Wales, heads themselves back on top of the ladder, just sneaking in front of South Africa. South Africa didn't play this weekend, so All Blacks managed to reclaim that number 1 spot. And Fozzie was talked about Beauden taking these intercepts, not being a fluke, something that he's been able to consistently. So his timing is back on track. But when asked about whether or not they want to rank him higher than Richie Mo'unga, So Fozzie declined. Fozzie, just let him kick, mate. Let him kick. If he gets 80% of his kickings against Italy, you know he's your World Cup winning number 10 right there. There's no discussion about it. No discussion about it. You want players who went through adversity, and if Beauden has gone over the hump, he's the man for you. So Alun Wyn came off the field, I think 18 minutes into the first half, just putting a normal tackle onto Beauden Barrett, and he went down with holding the shoulder that he injured in the Japan match, just before the Lions tour. So Alun Wyn is not really a human. So he went back to the changing room. They had a look at him. Apparently he's okay. So Alun Wyn, they're gonna get a scan on him to make sure, but they said he felt fine back in the changing room. So maybe it was just the stinger, because he didn't really look like a particularly bad sort of tackle. It was just pretty standard shoulder to hip, and he went down. So good to see that Alun Wyn is okay. Hopefully he will play his 150th Test match coming up soon. For the All Black team, the big man Brodie Retallick seems to probably got a bit of injury on his shoulder, so he also came off the field looking like he hurt his shoulder a little bit. So hopefully Brodie Retallick is okay. I think Retallick had a history of shoulder injuries, so hopefully that hasn't come back and haunt him. He is a very important part in that All Blacks lock position, but it's okay if he's injured. Ethan Blackadder will be okay as a number 2 jumper for the All Blacks, even at with a 6 jersey on his back. Very, very impressive man. So once again, this rugby autumn internationals has been criticized quite a bit due to the World Rugby not drafting the international period inside the adequate times where all the international teams were included. So the All Black game, for instance, and the Scottish against... we'll have to look about that later. Yeah, basically it's probably the main one where Wales were not able to play some of their international players due to being outside of the international period, and with the English being just clubs just being anal with the players and not allowing them to play, resulted in Wales literally not able to field their best team against the All Blacks. So the World Rugby has been criticized quite a bit this week. And also there was a pitch invader during the game. I'm just really disappointed by this. Apparently this guy invades pitch a lot, but the thing is, it is COVID and the All Blacks has been in a bubble, and I'm glad he's wearing a mask, but still he shouldn't be this close to the players, period. It's just unacceptable. The All Blacks has worked literally no public interactions in lockdown just for this guy to run on to ruin it for everyone. It's just really not acceptable. And hopefully he gets put in jail for this. It's it's in normal times. I think in Australia you get lifetime ban if you do this. I'm not sure how this guy could invade pitches again and again and again. And I'm pretty sure in Australia it's very high fine, $30,000 or something fine if you run on the pitch. So people don't do that anymore in Australia. We used to do that a lot. And also, second test on the weekend, Scotland versus Tonga. This game was pretty one-sided for Scotland. One of the Scottish import, Stain, South African import again, scored 4 tries with only his second test for Scotland, and it was just super, super impressive. And also this guy McLean, the other winger for Scotland, he's super impressive as well. He was literally running over Tongan players like he was John Lomu, just literally trucking people over, pummeling them through to score tries. It was very, very impressive, especially the first 2 tries that he scored. And Tonga, not to blame Tonga, their head coach Todai Kefu is still injured, so he's at home after a knife attack. And also Tonga don't have their full team with them due to international commitments. This also falls outside of the international period, and there's some other stuff going on with Tonga teams where the clubs are advising players not playing due to injury risks, and yeah, they're just basically saying it's not worth to play for Tonga for the injury risk. So it's a pretty rough spot for Tonga, but I'm really glad to see that they are on tour and working to build their team towards the Rugby World Cup, which they haven't qualified yet. So yeah, so it's good to see Tonga there. And Scotland put on a bit of a show, and that was pretty much it. Tonga put on a bit of a fight at the start, but didn't really manage to hold on to the onslaught. delivered. So yeah, Kyle Stang, another South African import for Scotland. So yeah, 4 tries, magnificent performance by him. Really put it on a number. One of the mans to watch out for the next game. So for the Wallabies camp, there has been a bit of shuffling up again. So Quade Cooper, big news came out that he was not going to travel with the Wallabies after being cleared to go the week before. So I reported the week before that Quade was cleared by his club to go, but he decided for his personal reasons to not go. That's kind of like the story. Basically, it's one of the things where he don't want to jeopardize this. Like the official reason hasn't been confirmed, but there are speculations that he's probably concerned about his contract with the Japanese club. That if he was injured, he could be put in his could be in jeopardy of losing his contract with the club. So and also there's speculation that he wants to look after his body for the Rugby World Cup next year. There's a bunch of unofficial reasons that came out that led to him pulling out last week. And that basically our favorite number 10, Lolesio, he's back in the fold with James O'Connor starting at number 10. So yeah, we are. If not, I swear to God, if no Lolesio, if he throws a card out and gets intercepted by England by Anthony Watson, I am going to lose it. Okay. Woo! So yeah, I can't wait to see Loa throw a cutout to Anthony Watson against England. And then also out of the Australia, Rugby Australia is looking to trim the organization, to centralize the organization, including trimming the director of rugby role. So currently this guy named Scott Johnson, he is the director of rugby. So he was put in place by Raylene Castle to apparently serve as a checks and balances against Michael Cheika. And Cheika did complain about after the World Cup that he was being hamstrung by the Rugby Australia. So yeah, instead of building a relationship with your head coach of the Wallabies, you decide to bring someone on board to undermine him for $500,000 a year. Yeah, Raylene Castle, you are an absolute buffoon, woman. You are so stupid. You literally ran Australian rugby into the ground. Raylene Castle, you are the worst. $500,000 a year to just undermine your Wallabies head coach, the guy who built up. Yeah. By the way, how many Super Rugby games have you won? Scott Johnson? 0. And Cheika has won 1, by the way. And also Cheika has taken the Wallabies to semi-final in the Rugby World Cup. How many semi-finals have you won? Johnson? Just absolutely unbelievable. I'm glad this guy is gone, to be honest. Apparently he was instrumental bringing Dave Renning on board. What do you even do as rugby, a director of rugby? Should have been Raylene Castle, you stupid buffoon. You absolute idiot. Seriously, I couldn't even believe when I read this. You're paying someone $500,000 a year just to undermine the Wallabies head coach. Cheika did come out and say after the Rugby World Cup, he had no relationship with anyone from Rugby Australia. Yeah, of course, they're spending $500,000 just to make sure you can't do your job appropriately. Just unbelievable. Instead of supporting him, they literally brought on someone to undermine him. Unbelievable. Raylene Castle, you are such a moron. Such a freaking moron. So anyway, Cooper, yeah, as I reported just before, withdraws from the Wallabies. And on the other side of the spectrum, Rory Arnold is called into the team, as well as Kurtley Beale back for the Wallabies into the fullback position. So Kurtley had a pretty good game on the weekend for his club. So he's back in the Wallaby fold after his performance for the club. And then Eddie Jones, some of my favorite coach in the world. Maybe Rassie is catching up to you, Eddie. So you got to lift your trolling game a little bit. So apparently Eddie has been criticized by anonymous. I feel like Eddie's like Donald Trump or something in England. He's getting anonymous sources criticizing him for being a tyrant for not a tyrant. What is it? What's the word they used? So basically, what do they call it? Basically, was it a tyrant? Just like overly demanding environment, essentially. So yeah, it's too tough for you. Oh, playing rugby is too tough. So Eddie has been, talked about how he wants to build the England team like the All Blacks. So he has really, really high standards and expectations for his like coaching stuff and the players, which I think is good. So I'm fully on board with him. If you can't handle it, don't play. It's England rugby. It's too tough. I'm gonna have a whinge in the news and then be anonymous about it. Yeah, so Eddie Jones, 100% in support of you. And the English media is absolute scummery of the scumbags that works for the English media to say, I feel like, it's, if you wanted to criticize the coach, then own up to, just own up who you are. Anonymous source, unbelievable. So obviously the fake news has been kind of debunked a little bit. So the current England players, Johnny Hill is backing the England, the Eddie Jones, saying that he enjoys the competitive environment, which is how you should be. Like, if you can't handle it, don't play. Or don't work for Eddie Jones. And it's just the way it is. It's a competitive professional sport. You earn your living. If you can't do your job properly, you get fired. And so Eddie Jones has been criticized for high turnover rates on his staff. If you can't get the job done, you're gone. That's how it is. I don't get it. You have a whinge about it. Just a bunch of sore losers from England once again. So my second favorite coach, Rassie Erasmas, had his hearing on the weekend, and he had a bit of a, tweet going on with Eddie Jones as well. But he is essentially had a hearing for his public critique of Nick Berry. He made a video going through all the mistakes that Nick Berry made during the Lions test series, the first test. But the whole hearing kind of boils down to Rassie's defense that he did not leak the video. So if the video was, if World Rugby cannot prove that he leaked the video intentionally or leaked the video, then World Rugby don't really. That's basically his defense on his hearing. So World Rugby will not have anything on him. He's currently traveling on tour with the Springboks. However, Nkosi, one of the superstars for the Springboks, winger, Supu Nkosi, apparently he has having some visa issues, not able to travel as of now, not able to join the squad as of now to the Springboks. So Afalele Fassi is stepping in for the Springboks. And finally, Joe Schmidt makes a return to Super Rugby with Blues. Joe Schmidt, a former Ireland head coach, many considers him to be the greatest coach for Ireland ever. He is a Kiwi, and he has had a bit of. So he has a son that has mental disability, a son or maybe a daughter. One of his children has mental disability, so he wants to spend more time looking after his kid instead of being on the road all the time with the demanding schedule of the rugby international schedules. So that's one of the reasons he kind of he left Ireland rugby and he's back to New Zealand to kind of both taking care of his family, and he's able to get a side job with the Blues, earning himself a little bit of money to on the side. So yeah, Joe Schmidt, we shall see what he does for the Blues. So Blues gonna be looking really good next year with Beauden Barrett back in the mix. So Blues really lacked a bit. I noticed, I was thinking about this the other day as well. Blues really has the talent in the front rows, in the back line to probably challenge the Crusaders for the top rank in New Zealand. I know they won Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, but that's kind of a different competition. But so Super 12 next year with the Blues, and they really lacked that link in the center. RTR Black, I think he left. He was the number 10 for the Blues. No disrespect to him, but he just lacked that little bit of flair that Beauden has. He's really good kicking game, really good kick out for the goal kicking. But I think with Beauden back in the field, there'd be a lot of spark firing off for the Blues. And yeah, and also the fact that Beauden left Hurricanes with a big hole in that number 10 spot as well. So we shall see how much of a difference this is going to make for the Blues for the Super Rugby next year. Could potentially be a winner for Super 12 for the Blues. Yeah, so let me know what you think of the news this week. There's a lot of rugby coming up next week, so a lot of videos coming up in the next few days. Thank you for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe. And stay safe, and see you guys a little bit later this week. Cheers.